We still got to deal with the police. What you talking about ICE, bro? We still got to deal with what's local to us. When you look at who the face of the immigration problem is often made to be, then you only believe that it's their problem.
Why do you think there is like less engagement by Black people when it comes to ICE? Why are we not marching the streets treating it like it's our thing?
So I think it's almost a couple questions inside that question. So I'm gonna address like a few pieces. One, it is what it is. And I think it's ignorance, genuinely, that leaves Black people believe that it's not. And that ignorance is simply American ignorance. It's belief in media, belief in mainstream media. What we don't understand, immigration has always been touchy here because it's a white nationalist country. So we don't necessarily want people here that can't be easily converted to the program. So when you look at who the face of the immigration problem is often made to be, then you only believe that it's their problem.
Understood.
When you don't know Haitians are being deported, when you don't know Trini folks are being deported, West Africans are being deported, East Africans are being deported, and how close those people are to you and your community, then it does not look like or feel like your problem. Even before all of this, like before Trump got to doing, bro, one of my homie mama got deported. It's that close. We don't even realize some of the people we think are Black, like are just our peers, are first generation Americans. So it is our problem. It's absolutely our problem. As far as us being up in arms about it, going toe to toe with ICE for it, I don't know if that should be our part. This is our problem, but to me, that's not our part.
Why is it not our part that
numbers? We could just be practical about it. We don't have the math for that. There are not enough Black people for us to always be the front line of every war. Matter of fact, I don't think we should be the front line of no war. Why America need them here and why we're protecting them are two completely different things. America want them here to exploit. That's including some of the people that, they take the jobs we won't take. Do you know what type of wild ass rationale that is? I mean, march to protect them. If you're gonna throw your body on the line as a white person, go ahead, throw it up out there. We protect them because they're us. They're being exploited and pressed on by the same thing that we are.
Right.
So there needs to be some allegiance there. Even if it doesn't feel like your personal issue, this is the point of allyship. If you harm my ally, that brings harm to our union. So I have to protect my ally, and those people are absolutely our allies, whether you believe them to be your primary community or not. So I think the same way you see in like Somali communities and the Eritrean and the Sudanese communities, when we saw those news clips of them trying to pull up at, and they mobbed them folks. That's where I feel like we should be at, in our communities, making sure that our spaces are protected. Do we need to be downtown marching and throwing? Hell no. Hell no. Our communities need us. Why would we leave those to make a display somewhere when we not strong at home?
Do you think the fact that, when I look it up, you said kind of like what the faces of ICE and people that are getting deported look like, traditionally are like Spanish, brown, Latino people in that community right now. But one thing I don't notice is there are white Europeans that are immigrants. They don't become the face of that. Do you think the fact that they don't show a lot of the white immigrants being deported, that it's kind of like exposing the agenda that they may have, which is to remove more Black and brown out of this country?
Nah, a lot of stuff be to keep white people in check. If they knew that they were affected by a lot of the same things we were, they would lose it. If they knew that, like, yeah, he brought some South Africans here, but he deporting the shit out of like Ukrainians and deporting the shit out of like, then they would have a real problem. Cause you deporting blonde haired, blue eyed people. It's not just criminals now, and we can't just make it about
Or we
No,
can't be
they
so
can't.
passive with it, letting it happen.
Yeah, especially
if it
the
don't look
passive
like
people.
me.
You know what I'm saying? Especially the passive people. You're right about that. So they can't be the face of anything. You do realize they're never the face of crime. They're never the face of poverty. They don't wear any of America's ills, bro.
But yet, the country and the government still has control and still wants to keep them in check, like you just said. So they have to still play media games and
Yeah, you gotta sell white people this stuff as if it's a part of the struggle to achieve the American dream. And anything that happens on the way there is justifiable via the pursuit. And anybody that gets chewed up simply failed. They didn't do it right.
You made me think about John F. Kennedy, because essentially he was taken out by his own, if we assume. So I wonder if he was a version of white trying to make it right, but yet the bigger beast wouldn't allow that to take place.
That's potentially.
Yeah. You just said something that made me think about these two people that were killed in Minnesota. There were two white people that were killed. I think that definitely sparked some fear into traditional white Americans, because they got to see like, oh man, like, why are we getting killed?
Yeah.
Why is it looking like me or my aunt or my uncle white? Like,
Yeah.
seeing that as a black man, did it put like some extra fear or concern of like, if you run into these ICE guys, like, are you gonna, like, how are you gonna deal with that? Are you gonna cooperate? Or like, did it put more fear seeing that two white people were killed by ICE?
Nah, I didn't personally. I'm gonna be all the way honest, man, and bless the dead. But when both of those things occurred, I wanted to see what white people were gonna do, because this ain't supposed to happen to y'all. State-sanctioned violence has always been a part of our relationship with the Americas. It's how we got here. This has always been legal and paid for. Especially women, y'all, according to y'all thing, white women were supposed to be out of it. Now, history says that that's not true, but white women supposed to be untouchable. But then a white man who carried lawfully.
He's supposed to be out at the top.
Yeah, lawfully. Carrying his firearm. Proof came out that they lied on the man. And ain't nothing on fire. I'm scared for them. I ain't scared for us. We still got to deal with the police. What you talking about, ICE, bruh? We still got to deal with what's local to us. So before I get to worrying about, you know, the next task force or whatever, it ain't like we got nobody to call on them. And that's why I said we need to be present in our community. Yeah, we should be talking about ICE and if and when they show up. You know what I'm saying? But it's not a thing where we need to be out in the streets. It's not a thing where our fear should have us cowering. It should have us planning. It should have us organizing. You know what I mean? We don't owe no more reactionary moves to nobody.
I feel like everyone's trying to always explain our position or teach somebody how to be right. That's what I feel the dialogue has been with white Americans. We trying to teach them how to do right. But I don't think that
ain't for us to do. That's not. Y'all don't listen. I mean, if we just gonna keep it a buck, y'all don't listen. So why would we continue at a community level? If you a black person in politics, politic on, my nigga. But at a community level, why would we continue to explain ourselves? What else is there to explain? How much simpler do you get than, hey, do y'all mind not killing us? Because that's where we still at, bruh. After all this time, all this progress, so to speak, we still just asking to be alive. So, you know, I don't got no more fear for no type of law enforcement. All of them, as far as I'm concerned, are just gonna do their jobs.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Well, based off what you said about, like, you know, at a community level, we can't just keep figuring that we got to teach them how to do right, Do you think it's like, I think I've heard you say, like, are you stopping arguing with white people online? Are you like taking a break?
Pretty much. You know, if we in community in real life, I might talk to you or whatever, but for the most, I'm not doing no going back and forth. You're blocked. The fuck do you mean? Blocked. I don't even, the way I give you my opinion on shit, but as far as what's going on with us, I'm not explaining a motherfucking thing. I feel like our matter should be private anyway. Niggas get to jacking their jaws on the internet too much. You're not just arguing with that white person. You're posting our business online. So before I do that, before I get to breaking down the truth about what we got going on, I get him some literature by white people about white people.
And if they want to accept that truth.
Yeah, here.
Yeah.
Here's a historian who gains nothing from telling the truth. Argue with them about your history. You might learn something about me in there.
This one on One Moment is presented by Hypers Club. Watch the full interview right now at hypersclub.com by becoming a member.